It's your turn, Van. You got good.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to PCG Live. What's going on, Kyle?
What's up, my dude?
I'm so excited. You're going to see me keep looking up like this, and I'm just watching my team getting spanked by one of the worst teams in the league right now.
This is why we started the show right now, so that way you didn't have to watch the game.
It's so hard. I'm like watching it because now they're on a run, but it doesn't matter. They're so far, and
I know.
It hurts so much. But anyways, everybody, welcome back to PCG Live. We love talking about what you love listening about, and that's nothing but the games. And that's why you're here, that's why I'm here, and that's why Kyle is here. So we are all here to talk about video games. Bam. So we haven't been here for the last couple of weeks, and the reason why is we've been extremely hush-hush about this, but this guy just recently purchased a house. So the story we'll say for another day, but it was a very, very rough road. It was very, very rough 2 months. That's why PCG Live has been somewhat on hiatus, but we're slowly trying to get back into everything again. And, you know, me and Kyle, I've mentioned this a billion times before, me and Kyle's got some big plans. We're in the middle of implementing these plans, so we're really excited. We want to thank everyone that currently watches us and supports us. We want to thank you guys for watching us and staying by and being a part of the show with us. And we're excited to as well expand anyone that's new that's watching as well. So, but anyways, we're here to talk about video games. So let's talk about some video games. I don't know if you want to talk about what we're playing or if you just want to get straight into the talk.
I kind of do, because I got a little surprise game that I've been playing. But do you have anything that you've been playing?
Trying to remember. No, but I do want to start getting into Among Us. So that's the game I want to get into, is Among Us. So
Among Us isn't really a game that you get into. It's more of you got to get a bunch of friends in order to get into it.
Right.
So it's like, it's not really something that you can dive deep into it yourself. I did see you on Pokemon the other day, though.
Yes. I'm trying to get back into Pokemon. Me and you are going to be working side by side, hand by hand, with hand, playing some Pokemon together and raising some Pokemon and trying to get into competitive. We'll do that 2v2 shit, man. I heard that's the way to do it, man, is the duos.
Okay, so yeah. A lot of tournaments that are ran in, professional Pokemon tournaments, they never run one-on-one. They never run one-on-one. If it's one trader, it's always 2v2.
Yep.
So, I mean, you can do teams, which is obviously more fun to do it that way. But in order to get the most out of it, they do 2v2. Because one-on-one, honestly, it's stupid because it's kind of like a chess match, but at the same time, there's kind of no strategy.
Yeah.
It's just, don't send out this one, switch out this one. It's kind of stupid. But, yeah, 2v2 is a lot of fun.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it when they implemented it in the game and the quest mode, too. So, I thought that was cool. So, but enough with the games I'm not playing. What are you playing?
So, I decided to be a big boy. And you know how I've talked on the show that I've played a certain series of games, a whole bunch of them. I'm giving you clues here. And I've played every single one of them except for the very first one. I'm throwing clues here.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of what games you possibly played that was an entire series, but you didn't play the first one.
Yes.
If I had to throw a guess out there, I would say Mario. But for me to say you didn't play the first one, that's kind of insulting to you.
That is very insulting. As much actually, I have been playing a lot of Mario 35 as well.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you've been playing a lot of Mario 35.
I've been crushing it on Mario 35. I don't know. I finally find the battle royale game that I'm really, really good at, and of course, it's the one that's temporary.
Can I be honest with you for a second? It's not going to be temporary. They're gonna keep that game.
No, we'll see.
They're gonna keep that game. But this is Nintendo, dude. Nintendo says they're gonna do something. They don't care how many people like it. They are very well known to not
rip it away. They'll rip it away if they. I mean, a lot of people do say this. Like by March, is it gonna still be hot? We don't know, but we'll see. I mean, they could do a lot of creative things with it, but that's a different story.
You know why I think they kind of don't want to keep it too? If I'm gonna just this is my last thing on it is just because they don't want to add more to that game. And I think that's kind of where you stand. If you don't add more to the game will die, and then they're gonna have to pay to continue to support it. And I just don't think that's something that they're willing to do. So battle royale games, the only reason why battle royale games work is because of the ever changing part of it. And they're just like, you know what, we're not going to do seasons. And to me, that makes sense. Like if they don't want to do seasons of this, then. But I think Mario 35, you can easily get. They might even come with another different Mario where it's you do Mario 2. You know what I mean? Now you're going to play Mario 2 instead of Mario 1. So that would be cool. Like, that could be what their plan is. So, dude, this is Nintendo, man. Like, I don't know. They can do whatever, but I digress. So, let me see if I get one more guess out of this. Yeah. A game that you've played, all the games in the series.
Right. Series of games I've played. The mainline ones. I played all the mainline ones except for the very first one.
All the mainline ones. So you said mainline, so that's another clue. That there's other games that are made for
there
it.
There are side ones, yes. They're not good, but they're side ones.
I'm gonna say because I thought we brought this up, but I thought you said you didn't play any of them. I'm gonna say Metal Gear. Okay, because I was gonna say you said you haven't played any Metal Gear, right?
I haven't played any Metal Gear. That's that.
Yeah,
that
okay.
And Final Fantasy.
Oh, that hurts my heart so bad.
I know.
Final Fantasy though is different because Final Fantasy it's not like it's a series. You know what I mean? It's a series of games, but not a series of games. It's a different game every time. Yeah. So anyways, in that sense, I give up. What are you playing?
The original Resident Evil.
Okay, you never played the first one?
Nope.
See, we talked about this that you were playing it.
I literally just started it like a couple days ago. Obviously I've talked about it ad nauseum. The camera is just it drives me nuts.
Yeah, no, the camera's really bad on that. Keep talking about it. I'll be right back.
Yeah, so yeah, for people that don't really know, I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. The first one I ever played was Resident Evil 4, which to this day, you could argue the Resident Evil 2 remake, not the 3, but to this day, Resident Evil 4 to me is still the best Resident Evil. A lot of people still consider that to be the best Resident Evil game. I've played 4 over and over and over and over and over again on multiple systems. When I first came out on the GameCube, I played it on there. When it moved up to the Wii, I played it on the Wii with the motion controls, which is really weird to play, but it was still fun. It's still a lot of fun to play that. And as the years have gone on, it moved to the 360, then it moved to the Xbox One, the PS4, PC. I mean, I've bought in Resident Evil 4 over and over and over again. I haven't bought it for PC or anything like that, but I mean, every time it goes on sale on different systems, I'm always tempted to buy Resident Evil 4 because it's such a good. It's in my top. That's a different subject for another day. I was thinking of my top 5, top 10 games, but no, Resident Evil 4 was a phenomenal game. Because I started on 4, then I went 4, 5, 6, 7. And then when the remakes came out for 2 and 3, I played 2, and then recently I beat Resident Evil 3 Remake, which I wish it was a much longer game. I really do wish it was a much longer game, because you could beat that game pretty quick. It's only on average like a 6-hour campaign if you pretty much run through it and don't do what I do, which is scrounge for everything in the game. But Nemesis is crazy. A lot of people do argue between Nemesis and Mr. X as far as which one's more intimidating between the 2 remakes. I honestly think Nemesis is, because Nemesis is super fast, has a lot more powers than Mr. X does, even though Mr. X has some crazy run for your life scenes, as I would like to call them. They're crazy. Prince Otto, what's going on? How are you? Welcome to the stream, where I'm just going on a little Resident Evil talk until Van gets back from helping the customer. But yes, I just finally started Resident Evil. you can easily get lost in that game and not realize what to do. But then there's a lot of times like with backtracking that you have to do in that game. I know I'm going through the game as Chris. For anybody that wants to know, I'm going through the campaign as Chris, and a lot of people have said that when you play as Chris, you got to do a lot of backtracking to get certain items and go back and do that. I totally understand what they're saying now because that's exactly what I've been doing the whole time. You only get 6 slots, whereas Jill, you get 8 slots in it, which is pretty good. I'm doing good. Sato. Having a little special Sunday edition of PCG Live. Again, I'm just talking about. We started the show with what we were playing. So obviously I'm talking about Resident Evil right now. I've been playing a lot of Mario 35, which for the people that have not played Mario 35, it's a crazy game. It is crazy. I got some clips that I would love to show. It's nuts what you can do in that game. Crazy. I literally had a whole screen of Lakitus just taking on my whole screen. It's insane. Youngsters, what's going on? How are you? Welcome to the stream. I am just going on a little rant. We're going to be talking about a lot of things on the show today. First of all, we're going to talk about the new Mortal Kombat characters that got announced. Unprofessional streaming, sorry. But we're going to be talking about the Mortal Kombat characters that got announced the other day, which I believe were Rain, Melina, Baraka, and Rambo. I enjoyed the Mario remakes, but found the controls for the camera to be a bit off. I do agree with that. The camera in the HD remastered versions of it were a little bit off. They could have been better. I know a lot of people were expecting all these Mario games to be remakes, or they were hoping they would be remakes. But what we got was, for me personally, I did really enjoy it. I do agree there were definitely some downfalls to it. The controls are a little shaky sometimes. Super Mario Sunshine being the biggest culprit. Oh, absolutely. I just finished Mario Sunshine probably 2 weeks ago again, because I never got 120 shines in it, so I wanted to go through it again. But yeah, there were a lot of times that camera was just awful. Just awful. So I'm not sure what happened with it. I never remembered Sunshine being harder than what it made out to be when I played it a couple weeks back. I thought it was much easier than what it was, and then apparently I'm like, oh, I haven't played this in over a decade, so apparently it's a lot harder than I thought it was. So, but yeah, I totally agree. Super Mario Sunshine's camera is definitely. I mean, Mario 64 is not that good either, but I would say I agree, sis. The Sunshine, jeez, brain farted. Sunshine's camera is probably by far the worst out of all of them. So, small gripe, but I thought that the grappling controls were off too. But other than controls and camera issues, the game was as good as I remember. I mean, yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm not saying the game's bad. The game's still fun, but I totally understand. The camera angles are terrible. Controls you had to get used to. That's my thing. Because right at first, I distinctly remember when playing on GameCube. Obviously, you only had the one R button, so if you held it all the way down, you would just stand there and shoot. And then if you just held it slightly down, you could run and spray at the same time. They changed that with, the right trigger, you could run around and spray. And then the R button itself, the right bumper, I'll say, you could just stand there and spray all around. Which, in turn, actually made the spraying mechanic better with Flood. Because now you had free range with 2 different separate buttons. One complaint I didn't see with other people is that they didn't change the button scheme in the game. Like, you'd see X, but it looked like the GameCube X. And I somewhat get it, but you can kind of get away from that and be like, okay, the X button is still the X button. Grappling as in grabbing the crates and having to... Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. I mean, that was okay. But, no, I agree. Overall, the gameplay still was fun. Flood, I still think, is a good mechanic. It's not the best mechanic, but it's still a good mechanic. It definitely was the most different of all of those 3 Marios. Sunshine is probably the most different out of them, in my opinion. Galaxy. The only reason why people may have an argument is because of the camera angle, but literally it's the camera angle. I mean, yes, there's the stars that you can point at the screen and go from planet to planet, and you have the gravitational pull. All right, so I get that aspect, but as far as how Mario works himself, I think he works extremely well. And it works a lot like 64. But, I mean, honestly, I'll say that out of all 3 of them, if I were to rank them, I'd probably say Sunshine is probably 3rd, then 64, and then Galaxy is probably the best one out of all of them. I love Galaxy, but that's enough Mario talk. Being unprofessional again. Sorry. I hate being unprofessional. Oh, that's my censor button. So anyway, let's get into some news, actually, because that is what we're here to discuss. We're going to talk about Mortal Kombat. We're going to talk about the PS5 interface that we saw the other day, which looks very clean, a lot cleaner than the PS4 interface. And then we are actually going to get back into next-gen conversation. Literally going to talk PS5 versus Series X stuff. The good, the bad right now. And I'm going to kind of ask Van who's got the advantage right now. Because if we were talking like 2-3 months ago, a lot of people would probably say the PS5 had the clear advantage. But with Xbox purchasing Bethesda, that was a huge swing in things. But the problem is, Microsoft comes out and says that they're not doing exclusives with Bethesda yet, but we'll have to see. That could change. There was I think there was a report. We'll talk about it later anyway. I know there was an interview with Phil Spencer talking about that, but we'll talk about that later and stuff. And Van's back.
I'm back. Sorry, guys. Had to work with some customers, so I apologize. Young Jizzy. Oh, my God. Small gripe, but I thought it would be gripping controls. What I missed? I missed a good conversation. I miss you, Young Fizz.
We were talking about a little Mario. We were talking about a little Mario action. He was talking about 3D All-Stars.
Okay.
And,
Young Fizz is the best Overwatch player I've ever seen in my life.
Oh.
And he's one of the best. Has one of the best Captain Falcons you'll see in Smash ever.
In other words, he can mess me up in Smash and Overwatch. Oh boy! Yay!
Oh man, he was the one that was gonna get me to run Overwatch tournaments here. So
gotcha.
Yeah. So, but all right. So, Resident Evil
finally started it.
Okay. All right. And you said the camera kills you.
Camera always kills me.
Yep. And the camera is bad. The camera's always been bad. And that's just the style of that game. So that's just kind of what that game brings.
Oh, I know. That's why I didn't play. That's why I didn't play that one. That's why I didn't play 2, and that's why I didn't play 3. The original 3.
Oh my God. The Patriots are making a comeback. I just want to say it's 18-12. I think they just got the ball like through interception, and is less than 3 minutes left. So I just wanted to give everyone a recap. If you're not a Patriots fan,
you ready to talk some news?
Yes. Yep.
So first piece of news talk a little Mortal Kombat.
Oh, yep. Some big drops.
Yes.
But you have an article?
I just popped an article up. There's
Okay, why don't you read what it is, and then we can kind of express it.
Well, that's. So this is talking about a leak. Hold on. Sorry, guys.
No, it's okay.
All right, so according to comicbook.com, a new Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate leak has some good news for our MK11 fans. Soon, Mortal Kombat 11 will add to its. Okay, so this was a leak, but they did add. It was confirmed that Melina, Rain, and Rambo have been added to the long list of DLC. That is.
Yeah, no, they did. They did the whole trailer and everything.
Yep.
Yeah, so I thought the trailer was dope. So I'm mad because the trailer was it was spoiled for me before I watched the trailer, so I already knew Rambo was at it. I would have loved to just watch that happen because now that I knew, like seeing them running in the woods, it made sense. You know what I mean? But dude, that's why I love NetherRealms, man. Like I love them. Like they are literally just throwing random characters out there that don't belong in the Mortal Kombat world, and they throw them out there, and it's a consistent thing. This isn't just like, oh yeah, no, they just did this with XL. Well, this 11, right? This 11 we're at.
Yeah.
It's not just Mortal Kombat 11. Like, dude, this has been going on since Mortal Kombat 9 or 10. Was 10 there first?
No,
10.
9.
Was it 9?
Yeah, Freddy Krueger.
I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember which their first one was, but dude, like. And they just been kicking ass, and it's just left field. You know what I mean? Like Rambo, like really, and then how they introduce him, like that's even better. Like I love it. It's just like Mortal Kombat, keep doing your thing. Like I don't really play Mortal Kombat, but every time there's like a new DLC, it definitely makes me want to play Mortal Kombat. Like I enjoy if I have a game, and then like say we're at a video game convention. You know what I mean? Those are the type of games I pick up. And stop playing like while we're all chilling at the house waiting to go to PAX or in between and shit. Like, let's play some Mortal Kombat. Let's get a game of Mortal Kombat going on.
Mm-hmm.
So
I totally agree. When you're at a convention like that, you want to get those like quick, short like fighting game type games or party games in. Stuff. But this was definitely out of left field. This was definitely out of left field. I feel like. Not even just Mortal Kombat, but like multiple companies are now doing that. Most notably, them and Tekken.
Yes, Tekken's now doing it too. Tekken hit a stride too, man.
No kidding. With Negan, that one was definitely out of left fielder. Now Rambo being in this one, so it's funny because when we were just talking about Freddy Krueger being in Mortal Kombat, kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
Jason,
I can see him in it, even though like you can come up with something to make the worlds together.
Yes, yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, he fit. Jason Voorhees fits. Terminator. Now we're stretching.
Yeah, you're stretching a little bit. You can make it because Terminator is not like a real person. You know what I mean? But like all right, no, none of these people are real people. But you get what I'm saying? Like you think from that fantasy monster like world and stuff like that, so you can kind of make it where it fits. But Rambo.
Rambo, that literally is just where did that come from?
Rambo.
And whose idea was this?
It's just like, but it's Mortal Kombat, so no one cares.
True. This is true.
You know what I mean? And I don't mean like no one cares in a sense of like, oh man, no one cares. Like this is stupid. Like, I mean, no one cares as in like, yo, I'm gonna play the fuck out of Rambo. Like, I'm gonna main Rambo, and I'm gonna make it work. And
that's like when people saw Steve. And and some people were like, "Oh, I'm gonna main Steve." Did we ever talk about that?
Yes. Okay, it wasn't last week; it was the week before. Yeah, no, we had a huge discussion on that.
Yeah, I was like, I tried to forget about that. Yes, you know what? Now I remember. Yes, we did discuss it because I remember you were you're like, "This is cool," and I'm like, "No."
Yeah, I'm the one that was for it. Like I like it.
But I did play him a little bit, and he's interesting, to say the least. He's interesting to play as.
Mm-hmm.
But that's Smash. Back to Mortal Kombat. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at this article, and there are some characters that I didn't realize that weren't in the game yet that probably should have been in the game by now.
Oh, like main characters?
Main characters.
Yeah.
So,
But see that's what makes this so good though, is that they're slowly pushing those people out. Like I agree, like the Mortal Kombat storyline, there's so much more that needs to be added. As far as character wise that they're forgetting. But at the same time, like at the same time, what are you gonna do? Like this shows that they have a long line. Like they want to keep doing this for a very long time.
Oh, I understand
Make sense?
that, but the some of the people on this list is kind of head scratcher that they're not in the game already.
Mm-hmm.
Which
I just want to add, man, they love having Jules throw the ball. They love when Jules gets out there and throws the ball.
oh my god,
Sorry, they've had Edelman throw the ball 3 times already in the last 5 minutes.
he used to be quarterback. He used to be.
Yeah, I know, but that was a long time ago.
And back in college, back in the college days.
But anyways, so is there anything else on Mortal Kombat you wanted to talk?
Well, the characters the notable ones that I wanted to bring up in this article.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yep.
Were Reptile.
Hold on, we don't have Reptile yet?
It says when they were talking about this possible leak after this, players waiting on DLC characters like Reptile, Takeda, Sector, Cyrax, Smoke, Irmak, and Lee May's one of them. Why? I don't know. I don't know why Lee May's one of them. Wasn't Lee May in like only one Mortal Kombat?
I don't know.
Well, that's it. I could have sworn I've only seen her in like one Mortal Kombat, and now people are waiting for her apparently. But yeah, the notable ones are Reptile, Sector, Cyrax, Smoke, and Irmak, who have been in 9 and 10. So it's kind of weird that they're not in 11 yet. But we'll see. It's Ed Boon. He's always up to some tricks.
Yeah, he always got something up his sleeve. But I think Rain was a great choice.
Rain's a great.
I'm a big Rain fan. I just like the concept. I'm a big Purple fan. I love Purple, so seeing that was huge.
I agree. Rain's a phenomenal character.
And Melina was at it, right?
Melina was added again.
Yeah. Yep. So
that's why I'm just baffled.
Knew she was coming.
That's why I'm just baffled because they add Melina, which I get, but they don't add like Reptile, who's been in the game since literally the first one. Which I technically I know he's not in the first one, but I thought he was like some sort of hidden character.
He was a hidden character in the first one.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, he was in character in the first one. So the thing about Melina is a much loved character. So that's why Melina made it in. Like for a very long time, people wanted Melina in. So it was kind of expected. Sindel is another character that she's in now.
Yeah,
but
in
like
now.
Yeah, she was in the last DLC that got dropped.
Yep.
So yeah. So that's pretty cool.
I just want Smoke, honestly, because
Smoke is awesome. Smoke, Reptile, and Rain were my 3 favorites.
Smoke in Mortal Kombat. The 360? Yeah, the 360 version.
Okay.
Was sick.
Yeah.
Smoke in that one, which technically I know is Mortal Kombat 9. I know. But yeah, I want Smoke. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, this next topic, Van, is near and dear to your heart. PS5. The new interface for PS5 was shown off a couple days ago. Very clean. A lot cleaner than the PS4 one, in my opinion. But go ahead.
So do you want my first reactions to it as soon as I seen it?
I want all the reactions. First, second, third, fourth.
Fuck.
Sorry.
I wasn't fully impressed the first time I seen it.
Okay.
Like for the first second they seen it, I was kind of like, my first reaction was. So then, as we started watching it a little bit, because I seen the image of it first before I watched the video. So when I seen the image, the first image I seen was extremely similar to PlayStation 4,
Yep.
and
Okay.
I have no problem with PlayStation 4s. I like it way better than the newer Xbox ones. Not the Xbox Series, but the Xbox One. Man,
Okay.
this name fucking scheme is awful. I'm sorry. It's fucking awful, and you don't realize how awful it is until you, like, people in our position that do podcast and game reviews and stuff like that. Dude, we have the hardest time, and it sucks so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, the original Xbox One overlay UI, I liked so much better. I liked the best. It was so much easier to get around.
Yep.
And
I
then they
agree.
started updating it, and as the updates were going on, it was getting worse and worse because it was harder to find shit, and it was getting so frustrating. And now I do think PlayStation 4's one is better than the Xbox ones, and PlayStation changed theirs
Yeah.
since the PlayStation 4 release. So I see nothing wrong with the PlayStation 4's UI. It is very vanilla. I give them that, but it's very quick to get to everything. Anything I need to get to,
Yep.
very quick, very easy. I enjoy it greatly. But I did want something new and inspiring. And when I first seen the picture, I didn't feel like I got that. But then when I watched the video, I did feel better. I I do like this UI a lot better than 4, but I think it's more because I like the features of what the UI provides. The picture in picture is phenomenal. Like, that
Yep.
is a
I agree.
powerful, that shows you how powerful the system is. Like, you see what we go through with streaming wise, and look at what you have for a computer, and just to screen capture and stream is such a daunting task. You are able to play your game and stream another game, a player's game. Like, a player can stream their game live and share it with the group. Like, all these features, we'll go through the list, because do you have the list pulled up?
I can bring up the list.
But uh, there's a complete list of awesome things that it can do. But the visual appearance of it, it PlayStation always makes it very vanilla, and it's so that way everything else behind it works. So to me, like, PlayStation reminds me very much of, like, Linux or Apple based, opposed to Windows, where Windows has always been very visually heavy and appealing, should I say. So, like, that is a big thing for Windows, but it bogs a lot of stuff down. That's why a lot of people don't like using Windows that are hardcore computer people, is because there's so much crap that's running in the background. It delays so much stuff. But
Yeah.
Linux and Apple are so quick on their OS because it's very narrowed down to the basics of what it needs to run. PlayStation is very similar that way. Hey, we're gonna give you what you need, where you need it, and then that's all that matters. And I think that's really cool. I do enjoy that. But sometimes you do want a little of the fancy dancy. You want to live the high life. Sometimes you want to put on a suit jacket and a tie and put on some dress shoes and look cool outside. And I think we got a little bit of the best of both worlds, but the most important thing that they added were the features. And I think
Yeah.
that's what we need to truly look at. And I think that's what every gamer looks at when they're playing.
Yeah. So I didn't find like an actual list, but I have like a gallery that they are showing. So
Mm-hmm.
one feature that I thought was very interesting, but probably at this point kind of should have been happening for, is the on-screen help. When
Yep.
so
Yep.
when you
Yep.
can
Yep.
when you're playing in different sections of the game, you can actually look up. Um, I believe it's what other players that didn't, or maybe it's just a tips thing that you can do to find different things if you're having trouble finding certain items or getting through a level, stuff like that. Like, they have now, you don't have to go on the internet or on YouTube or anything like that to find tips and tricks on how to do certain things in different games. I don't think they said it's available for every single game, but one game they did show off during it was Sackboy's Adventure. And they ended up showing, he was trying to collect a monk robe, as it was called. So he brought up the picture-in-picture right there with the helpful tip, and it showed him exactly how to get there. So and then he went through the game and did it.
I thought that was really cool. And you're seeing that a lot more too. I think, was it Stadia that kind of first introduced that a little bit, because Stadia has YouTube built into it. So then they were showing, hey, while you're doing this, you can pause your game, go right into, YouTube, find it. And I think you're going to see it in Xbox too. I believe that Xbox will integrate. I think that's something that is very integratable. I think you couldn't do it in last gen just because dude, that's multitasking. You know what I mean? Like that's processing power. That's hard drive power. Like that's inflicting your game. Oh my God. Houston, the Tennessee Titans. Oh my God. They just came back and won the game.
The Titans did?
No, actually, I think it's a tie. I think it's going to be a tie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
It's going to be a tie? Uh-oh.
Oh, so it's a tie if they hit the field goal. Or it's going to be a 2-point conversion and they win the game.
NFL talk during PCG
Live. Sorry. This is hype because there's only 2 seconds left.
Well, hey, this is just how diverse.
I love Tannehill, dude. Like I was a Tannehill fan in Miami, man.
Tannehill's not
Anyways.
bad. He's not bad. We can get the job done.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking at my game as well on my phone right now. And this one's driving me nuts because now it's 23-16. The Bears were blowing them out, and now they'll slowly let them back in the game.
Yeah, NFL, man, it's so many changes this year. Like games, so many comebacks.
I know.
But anyways, so yeah, I think that feature is a great feature. And I liked it when I see it in Stadia because that was one of the things, I don't know if you remember, I pointed out while I was just like, oh man, this is great. This is awesome. But now they're adding it to console, and I think that's good.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously it makes sense with Stadia because, it is Google, like you said, and YouTube's attached to Google. So yes, it makes total sense for them to do it. One thing they did not bring up, which obviously they wouldn't, but it makes sense that you need to be a paying PlayStation Plus subscriber to access these in-game tips, which makes sense. Obviously,
it's something that everyone should be used to by now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it comes a part of the package. If you want these premium features, you need to be a premium member. And to me, that's the only thing that's fair. That's the only thing that makes sense, and that's the only thing that's right. I think that's how it should be, and that's how these companies make money. And I feel like if you're not either on Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus right now, you're not a serious gamer in the sense of you're just not doing it. You know what I mean? Because all those features you need, or even on Nintendo Online, like they limit you so much without those. And I don't want to insult people and say you're not a gamer because that's not what I'm.
Because I don't have PlayStation Plus right now, but then again, I hardly touch my PlayStation.
But you have Nintendo subscription, so you have one of the subscriptions.
Well, yes, because I play Nintendo all the time.
But that's my point: is you're not going to buy PlayStation Plus because you don't play PlayStation. I'm saying like a part of the subscription system. Like if you're not a part of the subscription system, you're not a avid player of your console. Is that fair to say though? You're not an avid player. I wouldn't want to say like a hardcore gamer, but I want to say an avid player.
Yeah, if you're an avid player of any system, and you don't have that online subscription, then you're just literally shooting yourself in the foot at that point. Actually, before we continue, here's a side question for you. So our buddy Albert the other day on one of my group messages said to me that people only play the Switch on a special occasion. He feels that way.
I disagree.
Okay, so I didn't say anything that whole time because I knew he was trying to like bait me in a debate at this point. But if he watches this playback, which I'll probably tell him to watch it, that was one of the most asinine statements I've heard all year.
Yeah, no, I completely disagree.
No, because honestly, I could say the same thing about PlayStation if I wanted to. I could be like, well, in my inner circle of PlayStation, people only play on a special occasion. That's not true either. It's like, I just don't touch my PlayStation. I play the Switch all the time. A lot of people play the Switch all the time, especially games like Animal Crossing and stuff. People play it all the time. There are numerous people playing it. That is not a special occasion system. Plus, you can bring that thing anywhere you want. So I just wanted to see your reaction to that.
Yeah, no. I completely disagree. Especially right now, you can't say there's nothing that backs that up on his end at all. And I love you, Albert, but you're 100% wrong on this. I mean, there's so much out there. I mean, like, look at Animal Crossing, look at Pokemon Sword and Shield, look at Mario Galaxy. I mean, Mario Odyssey. Look at Zelda Breath of the Wild. I mean, every game that they come out with has destroyed sales. Every major title that they've had, it wasn't even a question. I mean, you can't find a Switch in the stores. I mean, like, what's that tell you? That's not, hey, you know what? These people are casually playing a Switch.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a sold out system isn't because people are casually playing.
Correct.
That statement by itself, that you can't find a Switch as easily as anything else right now is a story within itself.
I was like, love be to death. But that statement, no.
Yeah, no, definitely wrong. No. Definitely wrong. So,
but anyway, I digress from that. Back to PS5 interface. So, actually, speaking of the Switch, as a segue.
He's like, I can't find it. Where is it?
I found it. No, I found it. It's just, I gotta really put it on my Stream Deck. I have a Stream Deck.
You should.
I have a Stream Deck sitting here, and I don't use it.
Even I have it on the Stream Deck.
But yeah, with the activity cards, I should say, the activity cards look very similar to the Switch and how the interface looks on that. I mean, obviously, way more creative on the PS5 one. But it looks very similar to how the icons on the Switch look, as far as that goes. My only thing with the activity cards, though, is, they say, like, every single activity you do, and there's going to be, like, a progress thing, and this, that, and the other thing. Is it just going to keep, like, doing activity cards over and over and over and over and over again? So it kind of, like, stacks? Because that's what it kind of looked like.
They didn't explain that very well, and I don't know what extent. Like, is that only on the Switch? I mean, sorry. Is that only on the little big planet, Sack World? Sackboy, is it Sackboy World?
Sackboy's Adventure.
Sackboy's Adventure. Is it only on Sackboy Adventure, or is that going to be that's going to be on God of War? Because I can see where that can definitely be annoying. I think Sackboy Adventure is more of a game that's designed for something like that.
Yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't want that on all my games.
Well, it's just when you hit the PlayStation button itself, all these activity cards get brought up. So it shows, progression and different things to do. And actually, when you do click on those activity cards, if you were doing a mission like that to progress in order to get one of the trophies, it actually takes you right to that spot. So which I think is pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool that
takes you right to that spot and kind of explains a little bit of like, hey, this is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, so I do like that. But yeah, they weren't really specific on, is this during the game itself, or is this kind of like, it's going to just keep stacking up. Because they showed the home screen very briefly, like not even a lot. It was very brief.
Yeah, they didn't show it. They didn't show a whole lot of it at all.
Which kind of makes me question if they have like full confidence in it or not.
I think they do. It's just I mean, look at the way it's been. Like they haven't showed much of really anything.
True.
You know what I mean? Like they haven't showed much of anything, so it stays very consistent to the way that they've been treating this.
Very true. Very true.
Not saying that I agree with it, like, but at the same time, I was watching whatchamacallit, Kind of Funny Games. I think it was Wednesday's episode.
Yeah.
A Thursday's episode. I'm not 100% sure, but one of the guys brought up a great point about it, saying that we remember the days where you didn't know anything until the day it was released, and we kind of miss that because it takes away from that excitement of watching it. You know what I mean? Like experiencing it, being a part of it, be like, oh man, like that first time, not knowing how it's turning on and just turn it on. Like it's just so like you take all that away, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, let's put it this way: with the nowadays, obviously with social media and the internet getting to where it is now, and all stuff. I sound like an old man saying this. I get it, but with all like the spoiler and the leaks and this and that, like the surprise factor for anything is so hard to get now.
Yeah,
you have to keep things completely hush hush in order for anything to work out as far as surprises go. Showing off the user interface on a system, for me personally, I don't care. I could care less. When I turn it on, when it powers up, when it shows up, I'll just explore and try to figure it out. So like they didn't show off the user interface for the Switch when it came out. So when I turned it on and everything, it was what it was. It was right there. So, and I mean, it's not obviously this in-depth thing, but it turned on and I explored it and everything. Now I understand some things to explain, like the tips and the tricks, or warping from one thing to another with the activity cards. I understand explaining that stuff, but there are just like for the rest of the interface, I mean, you don't have to explain too much, just some features in it.
I don't even want to see it. I don't even want to see it. I want it. I want it in my hands. You know what I mean? Like, just give me the consoles. Like, make them available for pre-order.
I guess I should say it like this, just like to clarify.
I'll take that over everything.
I hear you. I'll say it like this, just to clarify a little better, because I kind of sounded hypocritical saying it like that.
No.
What I'll say is this: if they came out with an article, right, and they said to us, you can, what they're saying is you can do picture-in-picture, tips and tricks, this, I'd be like, oh, that's cool. Like now I know the features. And if they just didn't show the UI and they showed it off, and if they just did like a tutorial thing when you open up the PS5, because clearly they're going to do that anyway, I think that's good enough for me, because I just want to get in there and explore it. That's me personally. I want to get in there, explore the UI, see how it works, and go from there. So, I mean, that's my opinion on that.
Yeah.
So.
It's just... I like it. The final thought, my final thought of the PS5 UI, I like it. It's not anything like, oh my god, like groundbreaking that they did with this. I just want to see it in action. I want to feel it. I want to play it. I want to experience it. I want to experience the no load times. That right now is the most important thing this generation consoles have to do. Those load times got to either be 0 or cut dramatically low. And that's the only way this is going to work. That's what this next gen's got to be. Graphics, fine. You know what I mean? But I'm sick of getting graphics at the sacrifice of load times. And I don't want to see that anymore.
I hear you. I agree with that.
So, but the UI is visually, like graphic wise, in the sense of enhancement, is supposed to be 4K. It looked really good. Obviously, we're not seeing 4K through the stream, so we're very limited with that. So everything they show us is not going to be exactly what we need it to be. and we're not going to experience that until we get the consoles in.
Right. It should look better. It should look
Yep.
better when you actually get the console itself at that
Yep.
point. So.
Yep. Tennessee just won.
Tennessee just won.
Yeah, they were losing and they came back and now they won in overtime. Dude, freaking what's his face? Their running back. That dude's the best running back I've ever seen.
Oh, Derrick Henry.
Henry, yeah. He was a monster. The reason why I say he's the best running back I've ever seen is just he runs over people. Like he doesn't just run around them. He runs through them, but he also has the ability to run around too.
Oh, yeah,
so,
he's a machine.
But anyways, I digress. Yeah. So PlayStation, final thoughts. Excited for it. Want to see it in person. Let's see. I like the features they added, the features that they showed, and I have a feeling that's not all of it. Where there's going to be a lot more.
Well, I'm sure there'll be a lot more. I mean, well, actually, this isn't, the last of our PS5 discussions because, so there wasn't a lot of news that came out the last week and a half and stuff. Not a lot of huge. I mean, there was Treehouse where they showed off Pikmin 3 and Hyrule Warriors again, which was, it was cool. But with Hyrule Warriors, I have gotten to that point where we've said numerous times with other games, just put it in my hands and let me play.
Yep.
I don't need to see nothing else. I know what's going on. Just put it in my hands. I'm ready to play. Pikmin 3, was a Wii U game. They showed off some cool features that they're adding to the Switch one. Obviously, all the DLC that was in Pikmin 3 is gonna be in it as well. But not a ton to talk about with that stuff. So we're going to do something we haven't done in a while. We're going to get a little discussion topic. And feel free, chat, to get involved. Obviously, we're going to be talking the Series X versus the PS5 at this very point. Because we are, 2-3 weeks away from release. A ton of news has come out. They showed off the interface for the PS5. Xbox somewhat showed off the thing. They showed some features, but it was YouTubers showing the features kind of on the Series X. So we're just going to get into a question discussion type of thing. So, Van, as of right now, who do you think between the two is hotter?
Man. All right. So
that's a tough one.
No, but this is a tough question because, dude, there's so many ways to go about this. You know where I stand with this Xbox Series X. Dude, I think it's going to be a great system, and it's beyond the system part. Not talking about system, what Microsoft has in store for the future of what they're doing. To me, you already know is something I greatly respect and I'm excited for because they're bringing something different to the table, but not really. It's what they're carrying over what they had with Xbox One. And I think that's why you kind of don't see people getting super crazy and talking about the Game Pass and stuff. Yeah. But dude, I've continuously been talking about the Game Pass. You know what I mean? That's something that I've continuously been talking to them about and praising them for. And they don't even call it xCloud now, which again, Microsoft with your naming scheme. Google search, please, while I'm talking about this, what they call it now. And when you hear the name, you're gonna be like, "Are you fucking serious?" It's insane. It's stupid. But the Xbox Cloud, right, is such a powerful tool too. But at the end of the day, all those things I'm excited about have absolutely nothing to do with the Series X. And I think I'm coming to a realization that's really where me and Andre, and I think even you, come to our differ, where it's just when you guys are talking about the Series X, I'm talking about Game Pass in cloud, and you guys aren't excited for the Series X, and I'm just now I'm starting to be it makes sense because the things I'm excited for actually already exist, so we don't need the Series X.
Is it just called Xbox Cloud Gaming?
It's supposed to be called Microsoft Xbox Cloud Gaming.
Oh my god. Okay. Sorry, I forgot to add the Microsoft part.
Yeah, that's literally the full name.
It's called Microsoft Xbox Cloud Gaming. That definitely doesn't roll off the tongue. Just call it X. Yeah. Everybody's still gonna call it XCloud anyway.
Yeah, 100%.
Point. So
to answer your question, I think it's there is no real answer to your question at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
because Xbox has the most talked about in the sense of people are specifically targeting it because Xbox is in people's hands. People are playing the Series X right now.
True. Very true.
So it's out there and people are actually playing it. Even though the paperwork that they signed the contract, they're not able to talk about everything they can.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the things that they want to, and they're being very specific on certain stuff. But people are saying the number one thing that they love right now is the quick resume. That's the huge thing that everyone's talking about is the quick resume. But at the end of the day, though, like if you pay attention, there's nothing else they can talk about. So it's almost like, is Xbox
True.
making everyone talk about the quick resume because that's all they can talk about? But everyone's saying like loading time's incredible. So, but in that sense, everybody's eager to hear about PlayStation. Everyone's talking about they want their PlayStation, they want their PlayStation, they want their. So the talk that's surrounding PlayStation is such a different talk than Xbox because Xbox's talk is encouraged by Xbox. Xbox is pushing it. They're out there endorsing the fuck out of it. PlayStation is not doing that, but they're getting a lot of people talking about it, and people are getting frustrated because they want to hear more stuff about it. But it's not bad. Like people are like, "Oh, I'm not buying it," because PlayStations are clearly still sold out, so you still can't get it. So I have to say, man, it's right down the middle. Like it's really right down the middle. I think there's no generation that it's ever been more right down the middle than what it is.
Well, the shocking part, somewhat shocking part to me, is that the Series X.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Did they put? Yeah, Series X had to go up pre-order, right? Regardless.
Yes. Yeah.
Regardless, anything
it
Xbox Series whatever is sold out as well, along with the PS5 stuff. That's kind of a shocker to me personally, only because coming off the Xbox One, all the momentum obviously is in PlayStation's favor. They just it's literally a game of don't screw it up.
Yep.
Which PlayStation has done some things to kind of screw it up on this end. I mean, especially recently with now them saying things like, we are going to record all of your voice chats, and apparently that's in the user agreement now. So when you're in a party chat, they can now are able to. I don't know if I probably have to read more detail on it, but at first it was exactly that. They are recording your thing. Then it was, no, you can record it. But then after that, but after that, then you can send it to PlayStation. Now it kind of went back to PlayStation's recording it. So I'm just all confused with that one.
Yeah.
But the fact that that's a thing, I get why they're trying to do it, just to see if they can catch people that are cheating. But at the same time, that's still a questionable move, in my opinion. That's kind of an invasion of privacy at that point, because I know it's their network and they have the right to do whatever they want with their network if they feel like something's going on. I get it, but I don't want them listening into all my conversations, because we could be talking about some shit going on. And it would be, and all of a sudden they're like, oh wow, they're hearing about this thing, and it might just be some private, that nobody wants somebody in Sony to hear. Like if someone's having like a private conversation, say they're kind of having like a private conversation about, oh, I just broke up with my girl. She did this. And I'm not trying to be funny. Like, oh, they broke up with my girl. My girl cheated on me. That could easily happen. Like, people are playing and something like that. Now, all of a sudden, PlayStation's going to be recording that shit and they can hear that stuff. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, PlayStation. That's a little over the top. That's a little ridiculous. But, I mean, there's that. Xbox, I'm just getting the bad stuff out of the way right now. So, recently I did read something with Xbox. obviously there's the thing that everybody heard of it not running hot, but dispersing a lot of hot air out of the system, which I get that works. That means it's working because, the fan's pushing it out. But if it's like a lot of hot air, then that can be kind of questionable. You might want to try to figure out where exactly you put your Xbox, depending on the system. Depending on the surface, not the system. And then the other thing, too, that I saw, which actually involves a game that's near and dear to me, they were talking about how Gears 5 on Xbox One X runs exactly the same way as Gears 5 on Xbox Series X. I understand that it's an Xbox One game. They up. Oh no. That one originally just came out for 4K. They could do upgrades to it, but that's an Xbox One game. But it still kind of questions. That's a mainline game, and you're telling me that this game is not running any different from the Xbox One to the Xbox Series X, and that could mean a lot of things. That could mean load times. That could mean graphically. That could mean the glitches that are still in the game and never got patched. Don't know why. I mean, so that's kind of cause for concern in that as well. But I mean, that's all the bad stuff. I mean, obviously the good stuff, it's still selling out like crazy. I agree with Van. The quick resume on the Xbox Series X is amazing. And you can literally quick resume multiple games, which shows you how powerful this system really is in the long run. You could be playing, say like, I'm just trying to think of it. Hellblade 2. We'll just say randomly Hellblade 2, but then you got freaking Hades running on another screen. You literally, can go off that to go to Hades and play Hades and then quick resume on Hellblade 2 when it comes out. Which is, again, that's crazy. That's crazy to think about. Before you had to, with the Xbox One in particular, you had to shut the game down, start the other game, and you couldn't be running. You could start another game, but it wouldn't be running that well and stuff, and no quick resume. It would take a while. But, I mean, this is just flawless. That's because of the SSD, which that's another subject that we have discussed as well with the SSD and how much the expansion prices are going to be on those as well.
Yeah, but to be honest, to be fair, that's just dude. That's gaming. That's gaming in general. Like, am I happy about it? Most not.
Right.
But at the same time, dude, the external hard drive stuff, third party's gonna come out with shit. And that's why they do it.
True.
That's why they do it. You know what I mean? Third party's gonna come out with their shit, and it's gonna be just as cheap, and it's gonna perform just as good, even though they're gonna tell you it's not. It's gonna perform just as good.
Right. Well, I mean,
you got like Mad Cats. Mad Cats is gonna come out with their own shit. You know that.
Well, that's the other thing too, is we have to make sure that Microsoft and Sony aren't gonna do the whole, oh well, you can only use our brand and it's only coded for their brand and no other third party.
I think legally they can't, and that's why you haven't seen that type of shit happen with that type of stuff. But, you know what I mean? Because other words.
No.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We did see that with the Vita, kinda. No, because you can only.
But I think third parties didn't fucking care.
That is a possibility. That is definitely
you know what I mean?
A very highly possible thing.
You think about it, like, it just didn't make sense because not a whole lot of people had Vitas. Just put it this way: there's no way they're not going to for a PlayStation 5. There's just no way. There's no way. PlayStation 5 or Xbox.
I agree. I do agree with that. What do you think of the launch lineups right now? Man, there's not a ton of launch lineup games. I would probably have to bring up a list.
No, because this is something that I've been sitting on because they brought it up kind of funny, and then I sat back and I thought about it because we brought it up on our show, and we were talking about, it's a great list, but then when we're going back and going through it, like, in reality, it's not a whole lot. So, all right, in reality, in reality, what console release have we ever had that had a bunch of game title releases?
I'd probably have to look back at the Xbox One and the PS4.
To be honest, PlayStation 4 was the biggest that they had, and it really wasn't even that many.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean,
you know what
realistically, the last gen, I distinctly remember this, and I'm sure you do. It was the launch lineup was literally we're taking everything from the PS3 and upgrading it.
That was a huge thing. That was a huge thing they did. Yep. But so in my personal opinion, I think the launch titles are enough because listen to this. You're spending $400-$500 on these systems at release, right? In all actuality, you are not buying another game for a while. You know what I mean? Like you just dropped all your money on the console, and then you're gonna buy that one big game. So that's why I think they really focused hard on this gen, where they were like, you know what, we're gonna bring over and make sure that you have a lot of the games from your old console because it worked so well with the Xbox One and the PS4. And I think that's key because these players are spending so much money on the consoles, so it's important. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not buying 2-3 games on release. Like, you kidding me? Like. I can't do that. Like, so in that thought process, I think that's kind of where they're coming from. They're like, hey, we're not going to drop all our biggie baddies at the beginning because it will affect their sales. Because now, as the time goes on, except for Nintendo, most games they drop their prices after so long. Nintendo is literally the only console that can get away with that. I have no idea how, but people will keep paying full price for their fucking games, even if it's like several years later.
Makes me think that Nintendo is actually the smart one in this situation because they don't drop their prices and everybody's still buying them. And Sony and Xbox are still doing the same thing, discounting all these games. And when more than likely, if they didn't discount them, I guarantee you people will still buy them.
Yeah, I think they kind of made their own bed. Now you've built that culture, and now you kind of got to deal with it.
Yeah. Business-wise, it's smart. I mean, gamers don't like it. I get it, but they still buy it. So it's still working.
Yeah, man, they're so angry when they buy it full price.
I'm buying Breath of the Wild, and I know it came out 3 years ago. I don't like that I have to spend $60, but I'm still doing it.
It's like, yep. Exactly.
Actually, fun fact, it was on sale during the Black Friday prices thing for Best Buy. It was on sale for $45. Just so everybody
knows. Also, when you do hit sales like that, even though they're not super sales, people will jump on it.
Oh, absolutely. Why not?
Why not? So that's kind of where we stand, my friend.
I was saying, that. But you know, when Andre keeps saying Nintendo never puts their games on sale, well, I'm sorry. Did you see the sale? Yeah. He's like, oh, this should be like $20. I was like, do you mean to tell me that Breath of the Wild is a $20 game?
Yeah, no. Come on. That game will never be a $20 game, ever.
Like God of War. Is God of War a $20 game? It's not a $20 game. That game's a $60 game, no question. But they put it on sale and people buy it for $20, and they're like, okay, sure. That's what I did. So, damn, I just lost total. Whatever. Oh yeah, launch lineups.
Yeah. So I like their launch lineups. I think they both have good. At least think of Xbox, except for Xbox, because right now we don't even know if Halo's coming.
Well, all right. Let's put it this way: we know that Halo Infinite is not coming out at launch.
Oh, that's right. They confirmed. That's right. They did confirm that, right?
That's been confirmed. Yes.
Yeah.
That was their pretty much game to launch the system with.
So are you saying console launch exclusives? Is that what you're saying? Or console?
Say console launch games in general because they do have a similar lineup.
Yeah, because like Cyberpunk, dude, that's a pretty big. That game's gonna be hype as.
That game is gonna be hype as.
So in that sense. I like the games that are coming out. I think we're getting better titles for this console releases than we ever had for PlayStation is going to be fire. That is a big game. That is a big
I
game.
agree. I do agree.
So
That is a big one.
you definitely have some really good games coming out, better than what we've had in a while. But we're gonna have to save that topic for another show, so that way we can do our research to kind of see, okay, you know what, who had the best? Because there's got to be something we're missing that I've ever had with console games releases had to be PlayStation 3, because like, dude, what was it? Warhawk was fucking awesome. That was such an awesome game.
Yeah.
Red Faction. What's the alien one? Resistance. Oh, Resistance was a fantastic game, man. Oh, that game was so dope. That game was so dope. But like, they're not huge title games. You know what I mean? Like, maybe at that time they were. But if we were to take a screenshot right now and said, hey, would Resistance make the Hall of Fame for video games, or even narrow it down for PlayStation? What would you say?
Ooh, no.
Yep, exactly. I agree.
They never. Well, no, there was a Resistance 2.
Yes, there was.
There was a Resistance 2, but
Resistance at that time was on fire. Like, that's why they came out with 2. They even came out with the Resistance for the Vita. Like, Resistance was a dope game. But in all actuality, right, your top 25 PlayStation even touched that list.
Probably not, no.
But that's the point that I'm making. But it was a great release, a release thing. Miles Morales. Do we think that it's going to be probably the top 25 of PlayStation 4 games ever? I mean, that's going to be tough. Like, that PlayStation 5. Even though it is coming out on PlayStation 4. It's going to be a fantastic game. It's going to be a lot of stuff. But, dude, that's just the beginning. This is the beginning phase. Look at Infamous, right? When Infamous Second Son came out for PlayStation 4, dude, that shit broke the mold. Like, that was their game that they premiered their PlayStation on. And, man, that game was visually the best game we ever seen at that time. But can you say Infamous Second Son was a top 25 game for PlayStation 4? That's going to be tough. Like, the PlayStation 5. And Infamous title was huge. Everyone loved Infamous. Everyone loved Infamous. So, like, I'm not shitting on Miles Morales. Just because Spider-Man did really good for PlayStation 4, does that mean Miles Morales is going to do just as good? I mean, we're now putting this game up on a high pedestal, so which means we have a bigger chance of being disappointed with this game. I think. I'm not saying people are going to get disappointed, but I think for a release game, I think this game is going to be fantastic. I just think there's going to be better games later on down the line. Infamous title was huge. Everyone loved Infamous.
I'm a little distracted right now, man.
So, like, I'm not shitting on.
I'm trying to figure out what the heck's going on with the stream right now.
Spider-Man did really good. Why? What's wrong?
Does
that mean Miles Morales is going to do just as good?
Dropping frames.
I mean, we're now putting this game.
I don't know what's up with my system. I honestly don't know.
So, which means
I really don't know. It aggravates the shit. I apologize, guys.
I think. I'm not saying people are going to get disappointed.
Literally,
mine does it too.
I have a freaking 10
for a release game.
1080 Ti with an i7 processor. This thing always drops frames. I don't get it.
Later on down the line.
Sorry, I'm a little aggravated with this, but
you look like it. You look like you're doing good right now.
I'm trying to figure out what the heck's going on with the stream right now.
Yeah, you look like you're doing good on YouTube. Why? What's wrong?
Oh, it dropped it was just dropping on a ton of frames just now, and I don't get it.
You gotta get that BIOS, bro.
I honestly don't know. It might be. It might just be the internet itself. So I apologize, everybody. I got a little distracted. And I just had a launch lineup title too. All right, hold on. But yeah, I would honestly think that probably the best launch title out of all the games right now, I probably would say Miles Morales.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the best launch game. Even though I said all what I just said, I still think it's going to be the launch title.
I'd say the only reason why I say Miles Morales is because literally, well, I guess technically it's going to be on PS4 too. I was just trying to think specifically. I was trying to think of specifically PS5 games. I mean, because if we're gonna say it that way between like
Oh,
PS4 and PS5,
Ratchet and Clank.
but is that a launch title?
It is a launch title.
That got confirmed.
I'm pretty sure it did. Like that's what they keep saying.
So
When I'm hearing it in the reviews, they're saying launch titles, and they keep saying Ratchet and Clank.
all right. So I got to lit. Oh, this is on IGN too. The PS5 right now, the first party launches are Astro's Playroom, Demon Souls, Destruction All Stars.
Oh, I forgot about fucking Demon Souls, man. You just opened up a can of worms with that.
I must say. Oh yeah, actually, you know what? I didn't even realize that Demon Souls was a launch title.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Hold on. Let me just make sure I can confirm that.
You got a mechanical keyboard?
I wish I did.
I could hear it.
It's not mechanical. I wish it was.
Oh,
mechanical.
sounded like
it kind of sounds like it's not mechanical. Yeah, November 12th. Holy. Okay, so that just changed a whole lot of things.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, so you have Astro's Playroom, Demon Souls, Destruction All Stars. Then you have Spider-Man Remastered.
Okay.
The Miles Morales is coming out, and then Sackboy: A Big Adventure. So that's their first party games releasing on launch. The Series X ones are Forza Horizon 4, Gears 5,
Hold on. Wasn't Horizon 4, so that's right, because they're not making a new one. They're saying that they don't know when the new one's coming out.
Right. So Horizon 4, Forza Horizon 4, Gears 5, Gears Tactics, Grounded, and Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
So all games that are already out.
That's their launch lineup. Yes, and it's all games that are already out. There's a list for third-party console exclusive games releasing at launch. So PS5 has Bugsnax, Godfall. I forgot Godfall's going on launch too.
Yeah, that's a big one.
And The Pathless. The Series X. This kind of shows the big difference between Series X or Xbox in general and PlayStation in general. There's only 3 games for PS5 on that list. The list for Xbox Series X is Bright Memory 1.0, Cuisine Royale, Dead by Daylight, Enlisted, Evergate, King Oddball, Manifold Garden, Tetris Effect Connected, The Tourist, The Falconeer, War Thunder, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. So a lot of those titles aren't obviously popular titles. There's a few of them though, with Yakuza, Tetris, Dead by Daylight's been out, but apparently that's exclusive to Series X when it comes out, which is weird. But the amount in general, it's 3 to 12 or 13.
But again, the names of those titles, man.
No, I know. No, I know. I understand that. But you kind of get the gist that we've always known is
right.
PlayStation still, can do their exclusives, and they have their exclusives. Whereas Xbox heavily has to rely on third party. So it's almost like you can't even do PlayStation versus Xbox anymore. You almost have to do Xbox versus Stadia.
It's kind of, but that's what they were aiming for, to be honest. That's
true.
It seemed like with this generation that their target was like Stadia decided they were going to come out, and they were just like, you know what, we're going after Stadia. It's like, where the fuck did this come from?
Oh, it's crazy. It's really funny.
And then now we got the Amazon shit, And
now the Amazon stuff's coming. So it's going to be Xbox versus Microsoft versus Amazon versus Google in a triple threat to determine which one is going to be the best third-party system to play. Oh,
crazy.
my God. Xbox really needs to bring back some exclusives. I mean, yes, they're bringing back Fable, which is great because I do like the Fable series. Is it the best series? No. but I do like the Fable series. But there's that. They got to get Halo Infinite in check. When Gears 3 finally comes out, that thing needs to be super polished. I don't care if Rod Ferguson's gone. That thing's got to be super polished. But there's probably a lot. There are a lot of Xbox franchises that they could probably use, and they just don't do it. Which is, I mean, we obviously the biggest culprit company that works under the Xbox brand that they could utilize is Rare. But Rare, the last time we talked about Rare, we talked about them talking about a game that they showed a trailer for, and they don't even know what type of game it's going to be. That right there just shows the disorganization that Microsoft in general has, and the fact that instead of just dipping into franchises that people know about and that people want, Perfect Dark, Banjo-Kazooie, we're going to make new franchises that, and obviously I appreciate the new IP stuff. I'm not saying it's bad, but while you're waiting for said game that you don't even know exactly what it's going to be about, you can be working on Perfect Dark, Banjo-Kazooie scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
Bring back some things to get people excited for. Halo, yes, people will get excited about Halo. But Halo, unless this one absolutely blows up the internet and is the best Halo game ever, if it's not that, Halo's pretty much dead. After the events of Halo 5, I don't even know where the series was going as far as the story goes. So, Halo's kind of getting towards the end. Gears, they're about to finish up this trilogy with Gears 6 when it finally comes out. Then what happens? Gears 6 is pretty much dead. So your top two franchises right there, you're kind of running out of ideas for. And they're about to be, this is going to be a bad analogy, sent out to pasture.
Oh man, I like the Halo thing is very upsetting because that's your bread and butter, and now you're not coming out with it at launch. I think that was one of the most exciting newses. That's another thing that pisses me off. It's gonna make us change our mindset of when there's an announcement, is it even real? You know what I mean?
I know, right?
When they talked about the Xbox and the one and they dropped it, and then they were just and then Halo is coming out on release, and that just amps you up. You're like, this is so dope, and I'm going crazy. You know what I mean? And then they're like, oh yeah, you know what? Never mind.
Listen, and because we've been saying this as well, 343 Studios has been an absolute mess, according to a lot of sources. It's crazy what has been going on with that. A lot of rushed situation. That's why they had to delay it, because they felt like they were getting overworked, rushed, and all that other stuff, which we've seen in the past with other studios. It happened too, and that's when bad games come out. So I don't know what they're doing over there, but I get everybody is pre-ordering the Series X and the Series S, and that's great. The one that does really shock me, and even though is the fact that Japan sold out of Series X and Series S's. That one shocked me.
It's all over the world.
Yeah, because hardly anybody plays an Xbox in Japan.
Yeah.
So it blows my mind that thing sold out for pre-order in Japan really quickly. But again, cool features always sells, I guess, at that point.
What else do we got?
So here's another. Actually, I'll bring up more next gen, but this is now very hypothetical stuff, since these rumors have come out again and again and again. Now that we know PS5 and a Series X comes out in a couple weeks, what's Nintendo's move? going into the future.
Well, we'll see if we're gonna get this new console that they keep talking about. The new, more powerful one that's been rumored a billion times.
Oh my god!
But but does it seem more believable now? Like, it seems like everything, we always come back to that. Like, well, it seems more believable this time. You know what I mean? But when does it not seem believable?
See, this is literally why I live and breathe by the rule of if Nintendo doesn't say it, it ain't shit.
Yeah, no, and at the end of the day, that's kind of really what it is.
That's just, I mean, that's just me. But you know, Furukawa, the president of Nintendo, Shintaro Furukawa, came out in an interview and literally said, "Yeah, a new system's coming in the next century." which he literally said the next century.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't, when all these rumors come up, and then we saw these YouTubers talking about, oh, it's ramping up the rumors of the new Switch Pro and 4K, and Nintendo's telling companies to start rendering in 4K. I'm like, okay, wait a minute, because there's a lot. Actually, I'm sorry. Is there any cell phone out there that runs 4K at all, Van?
I don't think so.
So how do you expect Nintendo, out of all the companies, that's including companies like Samsung, companies like Microsoft, Google, with all these phones and all their technology, and there's not a 4K phone yet, how do you expect the Switch to come out with a Pro system, and apparently handheld is going to be close to 4K? I mean, unless NVIDIA, which I know NVIDIA works with them, which works with Nintendo, unless NVIDIA decides to give them some crazy-ass graphics card that works perfectly with the Switch, I don't see it happening. Maybe on the TV, it could. But, I mean, we don't even know if this thing would run super hot, because it highly could. There are way more questions than answers when it comes to this situation. Way more. Even if it was confirmed, there'd be way more questions than answers for the Switch Pro at this point. So I'm always going to be hugely skeptical when it comes to it until Nintendo does say something, which I've been saying this for years. If they ever decided to get into the power game with Microsoft and Sony, I'm not saying Sony would struggle, but they would take a blow. I think Sony would take a blow. Microsoft would just be out of the picture completely. They would get blown out of the water. Because now we're talking Nintendo versus Sony, and Microsoft's playing around with the other two. Stadia and Amazon.
Playing Tino and Winks.
Yeah, they're sitting there. Nintendo and Sony are going to be at the big boy table playing chess, while the other three are playing Sorry.
Yeah, right. Mousetrap.
Mousetrap.
Hungry hippos.
They'll have to play Clue to find to actually find one at that point.
Right. Right. Oh boy.
So I mean. But I had to bring up the Switch Pro rumors, obviously, because those have been hot and crazy.
Yep.
Actually, one last question. With the Bethesda purchase, and I know we've discussed, should they do exclusives? They said they're gonna be a case by case thing. More than likely, they're not going to do it. Phil Spencer did come out in an interview, I believe, the other day, and did talk about the possibility of Elder Scrolls 6 being an exclusive. So,
right, did you listen to the interview?
I didn't listen to it. I'm kind of, all right, ready? I'm being a little political. That was kind of like a Donald Trump statement that I just made. But this is based on to make discussion, not what I actually think he said.
Right.
So
So, all right. So here's the situation, right? And this is what's frustrating about what people are quoting,
yep,
in the sense of like articles and stuff like that.
yep.
They're quoting, so exactly the words he said, not exactly word for word. I'm not quoting it, but what he said is that the Xbox Series, like not the Series X, but the Series line of Xbox, there is a confident enough. How did I? There are enough sales in consoles for the Xbox that they feel would cover the numbers if they decided to ever go exclusive
Hmm.
with a console like for that title to cover the rest of them. So they're saying that they could make enough sales. So there is enough Xbox sales that they'll like we would make up for it. Like it's not like, oh yeah, we would lose sales if we took it off the other ones. Which that theory still doesn't make sense. Yes, you would. Yes, you would. If you're taking it away from PlayStation, guess what? Yes, you would lose sales because you're now still losing the sales of what the PlayStation. But I think what he was saying was they wouldn't suffer a loss, but still, even then, like that people are not more people from Xbox are now stop buying Elder Scrolls because of the fact that now it's an Xbox exclusive. Like that's not how that works. And guess what? If it's an Xbox exclusive, guess what? People are buying it on Game Pass. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know where that comes in. But he also said in that same interview that he doesn't see a benefit from taking it. They're not in the works of ever taking something from other gamers, and that was he was very clear on that. Like he was just like we never are in the job of taking something that other gamers enjoy and allow them not to play it. And I don't see them buying Bethesda to make it an exclusive. And the only reason why I say that is because look at what they just did with all the parties, the independent developers that they just bought, all the independent studios they just bought.
Yeah.
And that was the first thing we thought. And this has been years ago. So by this time, if that was the case, they would have initially have done it already. So that was something we thought, like when they started making that move, we're like, oh, this is it. Like this is it. The Xbox is going to start getting their exclusives. Not one. Not one.
Not a one.
So, like, what makes you think all of a sudden now, because they have Bethesda, they're going to do a Bethesda? Like, I get it. There's a difference between indie and AAA, but at the same time, like, what separates the difference between indie and AAA? Like, it just doesn't make sense. They're not going to now start doing it, and I don't think they're in the job. They've been very, very clear in Game Pass and all the motives and all the motivations that they've had so far with the build up to the Xbox Series One has clearly showed me that they are not in the business right now. Right now, as of this moment on October 18th at 4:57, right now they are not in the business for making exclusives for Xbox. They have no interest. They really don't.
No, I do agree with that. I totally agree that if they haven't done it at this point, it's not gonna happen. I could see them doing at the most extent making it a timed exclusive, but that is at the most.
Yeah. Yep. That's it. That's the best I see. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if someone's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do a time exclusive." Like that doesn't surprise me. But to say, "Oh yeah, no, this is an exclusive," I don't see it. The timed exclusive seems to be more of a feature.
Yeah. However, I could see them do something like exclusive content for the games. I could see them do that, but
possible.
We'd have to wait and see and stuff. Because the proof would be in the pudding as far as Bethesda goes. Because honestly, they could do stuff like exclusive, like obviously like Halo stuff for the new Doom if the new Doom comes out or something like that. Or they add stuff to Doom Eternal, which Doom Eternal is getting new DLC. So it's a tough one. I only had to bring it up because it was just pure speculation and pure conversation.
Yeah. No, I mean that's been the talk all over the place. I mean, as soon as they bought them, that was obviously like the big thing that everyone has been talking about. So I get it.
But I will say this: Sony, on the other hand, has done some things to take away certain things from gamers that might be on an Xbox. For example, Now I know that Sony owns Spider-Man, but still people are gonna be mad that
Yeah.
Spider-Man's not on Xbox.
Sorry.
So
It's just-
to add Spider-Man to Avengers, and for the PlayStation, not on the other series, is still a move that PlayStation's like, oh well, we got this, so I can utilize it, and the other ones can't. And I know they own it, but still,
Yeah, no, it still sucks. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it still sucks. Like to see that happen, but I play PlayStation. I can't tell that it sucks to me.
well, yeah. If you're a PlayStation head, you don't have to go to worry about that one.
Yeah. It's not something that like I'm like really concerned about just because of the fact of like I play PlayStation. So
True, very true.
I hate fantasy so much.
Oh man. So yeah, in about what, 2 to 3 weeks?
Give or take, yeah.
I think we're like 3 weeks away from the next gen being released to the world. It's very interesting. It's been a very interesting time this whole time.
Yep. I can't wait to see kind of where we are after release.
Yes, we're definitely gonna have to wait and see on that one. So, Van, any final thoughts?
Keep gaming. This next gen is very exciting time. We're drawing near. We're coming around the bend now, so like this is a very exciting time. Prepare yourself, and don't break your bank. The consoles will be there. If you can't afford it, don't get it.
Yes, I agree. They will be there.
So,
well, that's it for me. I got some gaming to do in a little while.
Yes, why don't you kind of throw that out there so that way people know?
Yeah, I will be playing some Among Us in a little while with a few buddies of mine. My buddy Young Retro, it's his birthday today, so we will be. So if you want to go over to, I'm plugging him right now, twitch.tv/YoungRetro64. I will be on there playing some Among Us with a bunch of other people, and hopefully I do better than what I did last night when we were doing practice rounds.
Nice. So, sounds like a good time.
Gonna be a good time. We will be playing some Among Us hopefully soon with the PCG crew. Hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm looking forward to that.
We have to get a whole bunch of people to do it. So.
Amen.
All right, that is going to do it for us. And good timing because apparently the quality went down again.
Kyle's going to throw his fucking computer out the window.
I'm literally going to... It might be the internet, but I'll talk about that afterwards. So that's it for us, everybody. Thank you for joining us, everybody in chat today. Greatly appreciate it. A special Sunday episode. Van's got a new house.
Yay.
Gotta give it up to him. So
I got to share my Kratos picture soon.
Yes, the Kratos. By the way, yes, you look very clean shaven now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, this is I finally bought a house look.
Nice. All right, so that is going to do it for us this week, guys. Tune in. Hopefully this Thursday we'll have hopefully some good news that comes out, because it has been a slow couple weeks in the gaming world, other than a few announcements, but hopefully some big news comes out this week, and if it does, we will be talking about it on Thursday, and it's gonna be a good time per usual. So until next week, everybody have a lovely evening, and come watch some Among Us on Young Retro 64's Twitch channel, and you can see your boy playing on there.
Yeah, get him, sir.
So until next week, peace.